Are we likely to regret not voting Raila Odinga like long time ago? That thing has been clicking in my head like for a while, and I've been asking myself, what if Raila Odinga is the guy whom we vote in and then he changes and transforms this country to a point whereby we'll be asking ourselves like, why didn't we vote this guy like long time ago? Because if you go back to what happened in our country, like there was a 24 years our country was held captive by a former president, that is Daniel Moi, and people are saying like, if Kibaki has transformed the country in a period of 10 years to that level, what if he was the one who was entrusted by the 20 or for the 24 years? Our country will be very, very far. So are we still likely to experience the same problem? Because take an example of what happens in history. Those great leaders who happens to mean good for their people, or who means to mean good, who to means good for their country, really, they usually don't get that long period of time to rule the country. For instance, if you go to our neighbors here, the John Pombe Magufuli, the former president of Tanzania, that guy was they used to call him a bulldozer. He used to work like tirelessly and making transformation in his country. He was trying to advocate why we don't need the whites to give us loans or patronize us or something of sort. We can actually do it. Take an example of Thomas Sankara. That dude ruled that country. That this Burkina Faso, if I'm not wrong, or Mali. I don't know either of those two countries. You find that he had a very short period of time, but he had a very great vision and an idea on how he can transform the country. If you take an example of those people who have been in power and made a very big transformation, some of them, or largely, large number of them, never actually happened to be in that specific country for long. So my question is this: is Raila Odinga the guy of whom we're gonna vote, and then we'll be like, I think we should have voted this guy like long time ago. I think what he has done in that period of 5 years, and the guy is growing old or something of sort. Are we likely to be in that position? For those who don't understand the very well politics of our country, let's go back to, after we got the independence, his father, that is Jaramogi Odinga, was actually to be named the president of the Republic of Kenya. But unfortunately or fortunately, depends on which side of the whatever you are, he said that he was the one proposed to be the president. But he said, no, you know what, I cannot afford to be the president. Bearing in mind, I have a good friend of mine who is in jail in Kapenguria. I would like him to be get out of the jail and actually come and get this specific post, because as of me, I think he's the one who really deserves to get the post of the presidency in this country. That was actually a gentleman's move. But if you ask a modern day human man, and they will tell you that person was stupid, but he wasn't stupid. That was a gentleman's move. So that was the very first clear indication that Luo actually supported Kikuyu. And when after that, he came to power, that is the Kenyatta, he started to mistreat the Jaramogi Odinga to a point where he resigned, blah, 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 a lot of things. If we get out of that place, then we come to 202. Kibaki, they Moi was to get out of power, and he had a person who he proposed to actually succeed him, and that is Uhuru Kenyatta. And after that, he said like, the person whom I think should inherit this presidency is Uhuru Kenyatta. But people are like, okay, if Uhuru Kenyatta succeeds Moi, it's like a continuation of Kanu regime, and we are not ready for that. We have been humiliated for long or something of sort. So they decided to gang up so that at least they can trounce the Kanu, and actually have a new party in position, and we can say that was the liberation of Kenya. I would say that was sort of a third or second liberation of our country. So there was an accident that Kibaki was involved in. He was actually laid to bed rest, and more. I mean, what we call the Raila Odinga said, you know what, guys, I'm gonna campaign for this guy, and we're gonna cling to power, and we're gonna get this post. You know what? And it came to a point whereby they used to say they were unbogable. And Raila did a campaign for Kibaki while he was in bed rest. He campaigned for him. He said Kibaki Tosha, and everything was sort. And Kibaki actually won by over 60%. You know why? If you look at what's happening in our country, that's gonna tell you like, we really need somebody who really understand where this country has come from. We need someone who knows exactly what Kenya needs and where we are, so that at least we can take our country to the next level. And my question is this: based on the two people we have as the front runners, that is for the presidency post, that is the Ruto and Raila. If you take the two examples, I would say Ruto is the young guy and Raila is the mzee with experience and all the information as far as the country is concerned. So, and then still we know that Raila was also jailed by Moi for over 7 years or something of sort. He was really with Koigi Amwere or something. So that those are the people who really fought for this country's liberation, not necessarily independence, but at least democracy or something of sort. So I would say he really fits and he understands exactly where you've come from, because if you do not understand your history, it's very hard for you to know exactly where you are heading. It is good to understand your history, where you've come from, so that at least you'll be able to know exactly where you are heading and whether you are making the better strides, so that at least you'll be in a position to transform at this country. So that thing has been clinging in my head, and I'll be like, I think Raila will be the guy whom will sort of likely to regret why we never voted him like a long time ago. We've been voting in guys who don't mean good for this country. We've been voting in corrupt individuals and something of sort, and that has actually really affected us economically as well as socially. Because take an example of our country. We are only 43 or 44 tribes in our country, but the issue of tribalism is very, very high, and actually people get to understand that, oh, kumbe unakuanga this tribe when it comes to elections. But if you go to Tanzania, there are over 121 tribes, but you will never hear them talk of anything to do with the tribes. They actually address each other as Tanzanian or Tanzania, something of sort. So we really have a long way to go, so that at least we can change this country, because we not only need to change this country economically, but we also need to change this country socially. That is the most essential thing, because if you can be able to appreciate your neighbor irrespective of their tribe, then I can assure you that that will be the very, very first baby steps for the development of any given country. All right. So my name is Joseph. Talk about politics, economy, and finance. And I always say those the three things are very essential, and you cannot separate each other from each whatever. So guys, if you like those kind of content, I would suggest you guys, with all your due respect, subscribe to my channel. Let's take this channel to a different level. That's a very high level, so that at least you make a platform where every Kenyan we can be able to meet here, discuss the issues of the country, and get to see where the rain started beating us. All right. So like the video, subscribe down below, comment down below as well, and share me out if you're in a position to. And see you in the next one.